Chuck Schumer taking a lot of L's. Chuck Schumer has just weighed in on a story we talked about earlier in the week. Mahmoud Khalil. Mahmoud Khalil was a Columbia graduate student. He graduated in December. He led a lot of the pro-Palestine stuff on campus there and made life generally unpleasant for normal people and especially for Jewish students. And now the Trump administration is revoking his visa and telling him to get out of America. So this has divided people, even within party institutions. Is this an assault on free speech? Is this just kicking terrorist sympathizers out of the country? Is this just doing Israel's bidding and oversimplifying the Israel-Palestine conflict? What is it? What should we deport Mahmoud Khalil? You can easily imagine people on the left and the right in favor and against it. Well, one of the top Democrats in the country, who is Jewish himself, Chuck Schumer, has weighed in, and he is on Khalil's side. He does not want to deport Mahmoud Khalil. Here's what he had to say. He wrote a novel, basically, about this. He wrote a War and Peace about this. I'll shorten it a little bit. Schumer writes, I abhor many of the opinions and policies that Mahmoud Khalil holds and supports and have made my criticism of the anti-Semitic actions at Columbia loudly known. Mr. Khalil is also a legal permanent resident here, and his wife, who's 8 months pregnant, is an American citizen. While he may well be in violation of various campus rules regarding how the protests were conducted, that's a matter for the university to pursue. I have encouraged them to be much more robust in how they combat anti-Semitism and maintain a harassment-free campus. The Trump admin must articulate criminal charges or facts that would justify his detention or deportation. If the admin cannot prove he violated criminal law, then it is wrong. They are violating the First Amendment protections we all enjoy. They should drop this wrong-headed action. Okay. I now have enough information to conclude we should deport Mahmoud Khalil. Previously, it was a little complicated. I'm perfectly willing to acknowledge that debates over the First Amendment can be complex. It's not black and white. I wrote a whole book about how debates over free speech and censorship are actually much more complex than the left or the right make them out to be. So I'm totally willing to acknowledge that the Israel-Palestine conflict is a difficult issue. It's thorny. It's complex. One can understand a multiplicity of arguments. One cannot exactly understand supporting Hamas, but one can understand that there is a variety of views on it. However, for me, for a fella, maybe I'm a little thick in the head. I don't know what it is. I don't understand all the nuances of the Israel-Palestine conflict. I don't know every single line of the U.S. code pertaining to how we might deport legal residents who are not citizens, who are on campus, who are engaging in these kinds of demonstrations. For me, I look around and I see if you are on the same side as Columbia graduate students and Islamist revolutionaries and Chuck Schumer, you're just on the wrong side. I'm looking around at this, and I think this is an important rule. Forget about Columbia, forget about this particular issue. This is just a good rule in politics. If you do not have, in your limited stock of reason, the ability to go through every pro and con, every single angle of every single political issue, and you want to figure out which side you come down on, look at the people who come down on each side. When I look on the free Mahmoud Khalil, leave him in America, he's got the right to be here kind of side, I see radical leftists, I see Ivy League graduate students, some of the most wrong-headed people in the entire country as a generalization. I see Chuck Schumer. I see Islamist revolutionaries. I see Greta Thunberg. I see the establishment media. I see the worst people in the country. I see the worst people politically in the world. Okay, they're on the side of, we support Mahmoud Khalil. Let him keep waving his kefias or whatever around Columbia. And then when I look on the side of people who think he should not be in the country, it's immigration restrictionists, it's Christians, it's the Trump administration, it's people who do not particularly support Hamas or the Palestine liberation movement. I don't know. It seems to me pretty clear, actually. I know it's a complex issue in the background, but when I look at this particular instantiation of it, Chuck Schumer was enough to push me over the edge. That's it. If all the worst people are on one side, generally speaking, 999 times out of 1,000, probably you should be on the other side. Secretary of State Marco Rubio just weighed in on this very issue. He was asked if the deportation proceedings against Mahmoud Khalil violate some constitutional rights, or specifically the First Amendment. Here's what he had to say.
Your revocation of the green card, to many, is seen as one of the most anti-speech actions a secretary could take with his powers. How do you respond?
Yeah, when you enter this is an important point, and I'm glad you asked this question. When you come to the United States as a visitor, which is what a visa is, which is how this individual entered this country, on a visitor's visa, okay? You are here as a visitor. We can deny you that visa. This is not about free speech. This is about people that don't have a right to be in the United States to begin with. No one has a right to a student visa. No one has a right to a green card, by the way. So when you apply for a student visa or any visa to enter the United States, we have a right to deny you for virtually any reason.
My estimation of Secretary Marco Rubio is growing by the day. This is a beautiful way to articulate American liberty. He goes, hey, nobody has the right to a visa. Nobody has the right to a green card. Some foreigner comes over here and then demands to be treated with all of the privileges of an American citizen. No, I don't think so. When you apply for a visa, we have the right to reject you for virtually any reason. And if you don't benefit the country, if you kind of mess things up, like you cause mayhem on our college campuses, we have the right to get rid of you. That's our right. This is a sturdy understanding of political liberty. I talk about the classical and liberal versions of liberty on the individual level. Well, this is a great way to understand it at the political level. Liberty, in the classical tradition and up through the Middle Ages, would have been understood as the right of a place to govern itself. You know, the right of the Athenians not to be invaded and conquered and have their women and children sold into slavery and their men slaughtered. That's what we would have understood as liberty in the classical and medieval eras. Now, we've totally lost a sense of national liberty, of the liberty of a people. So now we pretend that foreigners all over the world have the right to American citizenship, have the right to mess up our campuses, have the right to jobs in America, have the right. They don't. They don't. We have rights. We have certain individual rights, sure. Frankly, the rights language is really overblown, but we do have certain individual rights, but we also have the collective right to be a country, okay? We don't need to put up with people who are not making America better. Ask yourself this basic question. Does Mahmoud Khalil make America better or worse? Obviously worse. He's wrong about a great many things. I don't even care what you think about Israel-Palestine. He's wrong about a great many things. I'm willing to bet he's a Columbia graduate student who's out there shrieking and screaming with a bunch of unwashed leftists. Why would we keep him here? He's bad for America. Get rid of him. Many such cases, by the way. I think rather than restrict this example of a muscular administration policy, I think maybe we need to expand it, okay? I'm so glad you liked that clip. It would have pained me had you not liked that clip. And that could have disturbed my sleep, frankly. If you want more of them, you got to subscribe to this channel, and then you'll get more clips, and then then we'll all be simpatico, right? See you next time.